Senator Brad Hoylman-Sigal supported the bill to legalize cannabis sales. Now he's stuck with the so-called rotten fruits of that move, dozens of illegal shops that dot his district. What's a poor senator to do? What would you do it if you had to do it all over again? Would you do it?
Absolutely. Would I do it differently with my colleagues? Did I think there'd be the illegal market springing up like we've seen? Thousands of shops, Marcia. We've only designated 26 shops statewide, yet we have likely 3,000 illegal shops, many of them in my district on the west side.
So did the legislature not take it seriously enough that there should be more enforcement? Was that an issue? Or
that's a fair criticism.
I mean, you know, looking back on it, do you think that there should have been more enforcement in the bill?
I think that's a fair criticism. I think what we didn't want to do is recriminalize folks who had been selling and were the object of the war on drugs. But what we should have done is give local authority, local police officers, the power to padlock these shops. I'm very glad that the New York City Council has taken that step in this week to do that very thing.
But, you know, Mayor Adams has said that if you gave him the authority, he could close down all these shops in 3 months. So what kind of power would you have to give the city so that you could do that? And do you think that they actually can do it?
I think they could do it now. There's so many laws that they could actually utilize to shut the shops now. We've made that argument to them. They're waiting for explicit authority from Albany, which I think we will grant them come January. But in the meantime, you've seen the City Council introduce legislation.
The City Council has a bill, we should tell our viewers, that talks about using the nuisance abatement law to close down these shops. Is that enough? Because, you know, there's already another bill that goes after landlords. So what else do they need to shut these places down?
Explicit authority from Albany to allow NYPD to padlock these shops is a good step forward.
Will it happen?
I think that's something that we're going to consider come January.
Yeah, but is there a concern if you do that, that you will recriminalize the whole idea?
That's probably why we didn't do it in the first place. But I think now that we've seen the illegal market undermine the legal market and take money from folks who are trying to make an honest living off of this new industry, we'll reconsider it.
So right now, just to go back, tax agents are the ones who are supposed to close down these shops. And you wonder what ability or training they have to deal with this illegal market.
Clearly not much. We had a hearing in Albany this week, and the number of enforcement actions have been limited. They need to step it up. They need to hire more staff. They need to get on the ground and keep shops closed. There was one in my district that was shut for 24 hours. What happened after 24 hours? It reopened.
So let me ask you this. Another thing that that bothers people is like secondhand marijuana smoke. It's not only that when you walk down the street, you come in contact with it all the time, but people who live in apartment buildings are complaining that it either comes up through the heat registers or through the walls or down the hall. Is there anything that can be done about that? Because there's a legitimate concern about the fact, especially in apartment buildings, that the smoke is coming up into their apartments.
Well, folks who live in apartment buildings can make their own regulations around smoke, and they should do that. But in addition, Marcia, we have a real problem with product in the illegal shops that could be dangerous to public health. That's one of my top concerns. If these products that are not sanctioned, haven't been tested, are not grown or produced in New York, get into the hands of children or people who don't know, it could cause serious injury. That's why this is an all-hands-on-deck approach.
So I also want to talk to you about illegal bikes, illegal e-bikes that are going every which way. Is there any law or issue that you could do to stop this? I mean, you walk out of this building and you have to really look to make sure that an illegal, e-bike isn't coming at you in the wrong direction or on the sidewalk. It's crazy out there.
Well, it's not too different than the illegal cannabis shops, to be honest. It's a wild west in some of our neighborhoods, whether it's cannabis shops or dangerous e-bikes. We can write as many laws as we want in Albany, have them signed by the governor, but unless they're enforced at the local level, they really don't mean much. The point is, many of these e-bikes that are dangerous to pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists are already illegal. So the question is, why are they still allowed to operate?
What is the answer?
Lack of enforcement.
But the question then becomes, there's so many things that you have to enforce. How do you decide to make that the priority and not going after, people who shove people onto the subway tracks or anti-Semitic attacks? There's so many things going on in the city right now.
Absolutely. That's the role of government, right? To prioritize, and certainly what you mentioned has to be addressed too. I think we can walk and chew gum at the same time when it comes to these issues of quality of life and public safety. They have to be put at the top of the agenda.
But you also want to change the penalties for people who are on these bikes that hit pedestrians or even cars. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. Well, we can do things in Albany to make the laws tougher so that someone who is responsible for a hit and run has the same fines and penalties as someone who drives a car and leaves the scene of an accident. That's unconscionable. We can also require these gas-powered mopeds to be licensed at the point of sale, so somebody can't go in there, purchase a moped, and then take it out on the street without a license. We have legislation in that regard. And we can also make sure that the delivery app companies, they're the ones responsible. You know, our Uber Eats, we want our noodles warm, right, when they get to our apartment.
We want our warm noodles.
We do. And we need to make sure that the delivery app companies have insurance for their e-bike delivery drivers, as well as licensing the commercial e-bikes. I have legislation with my colleague, Assembly Member Simone, that would require all e-bikes that are used for commercial purposes to be licensed.
So, do you think that license plates are necessary for these e-bikes, so that therefore a police officer who sees an e-bike doing this can take down the license plate number and then know who owns it or who should own it and go after that person? Because that's a really hot topic for people who drive bikes and e-bikes.
For the commercial delivery riders, absolutely. Mainly because somebody's making money off of it. They should be responsible for paying the fines. They should be responsible for the upkeep of our public infrastructure. They're using our bike lanes and our public spaces for their own profit motives. They need to be held responsible. That's why they should be licensed.
But see, you know what happens in this situation? The bike lobby, the people who actually ride regular bikes, are afraid that if you do this, it opens the gates, the floodgates, to putting license plates on regular bicycles, and they're afraid that that's going to happen. So would you assure them that it won't happen, or is this just the beginning of trying to get a handle on everybody who rides a vehicle in New York City?
I think there's a clear line of demarcation between profit making with e-bikes and those who use bikes for pleasure or getting to work as a method of alternative transportation. Pretty clear line, and I think we could get the bike lobby on our side.
So we have about 30 seconds left. How dangerous are these bikes? Because they also have, you know, lithium-ion batteries that sometimes explode.
They're very dangerous, and we have to adapt to new technology. Look, e-bikes are also an important tool for so many of our asylum seekers who are now living in our city and trying to make a living. So we have to accommodate this, but, you know, it requires a lot of thoughtfulness, as you say, prioritizing, and we can do it. I'm confident we can make our streets safer.
Senator, thank you very much. We're going to have to leave it right there for now, but we'll be right back.